Hey guys, so today we're going to be making Caesar dressing. I've made it a lot at work, but I'm actually doing this for school because we're all online right now, and they are asking us to make some Caesar dressing this week, as well as some other recipes that I will post at a later date. To get started, what we will be using is Dijon mustard. It can be whatever you would like. I'm using Grey Poupon because we like Grey Poupon in our house. We'll be using a lemon, Parmesan cheese, 2 egg yolks, one of them broke, so that's why it's all soupy. Salt, not this much salt, but I like to have it in a container. Garlic and anchovy paste. I used about 4 cloves of garlic. I really like garlic, as well as my husband, so we usually add like 1 extra clove than what a recipe asks for. I'll be using just a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, and then this bowl has my canola oil in it. So I will actually be mixing my dressing in my stand-up mixer rather than doing it all by hand, because I think it's just a little easier to help emulsify it, to keep the dressing from breaking apart and the oil separating from all the other stuff. So I'm going to start by adding my egg yolks. Since it broke, I'm going to use my spatula obviously to scrape as much of it in there as I can get. That's about as much as I'm going to get. And then I'm going to add, I don't know if I'm going to use this much garlic. I can always add in a little bit later if it's a little not as garlicky as I want it to be. But I'll definitely add the anchovy paste. And it's probably about maybe 2 teaspoons of anchovy paste. And then I'm probably putting about 3 cloves of garlic in there to start with. This is probably another clove, or 2.5 cloves of garlic is probably what I'm using. I will add a little bit of my Grey Poupon. You can really just add this to taste. It's going to help emulsify the egg yolk in with the mustard, so that once the oil starts adding, it's all going to be combined and it won't separate like what I was saying earlier. I'm probably going to put, for my own preference, about maybe 1.5 teaspoons to 2 teaspoons. I'm going to hold off on the salt. I salt at the end because the anchovies have salt in them. The Worcestershire sauce has salt, the cheese has salt, so I'm just going to wait till the end to salt at the end. And I'm also going to add just probably a little teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. I don't really want a whole lot in there because I don't want to change the color of the dressing that much, because it's a very light and white dressing. I also forgot to mention that if you guys don't want to cut up your own garlic like I did, I minced my own. They also sell chunky. You can either get chunky garlic or just regular garlic paste. I'm not using it, it's out of date, I'm going to throw it out. But in case you guys don't like buying fresh garlic and it goes out too fast for you, this stuff kind of lasts a little bit longer. But it's all personal preference, what you want to do, it doesn't really matter. I don't think I will use all this lemon juice. I'll probably only use a little bit of it, so it's probably going to be about maybe 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And then I have this so that the seeds do not get into my mixture. Again, you kind of want to do the less is more thing, because later if you taste it and it doesn't taste quite right, or you think it needs a little more lemon or whatever, then you can add some more lemon to it once it's all emulsified, and you can just mix it in. So now you can see that it's all on the bottom of my mixer. I'm going to close it up and just set it on very low so it mixes together. And you can always hand whisk this too. I just find it easier if you have something that can whisk at a slow pace. And once that egg yolk kind of mixes in with the Dijon, you can speed it up just a little bit. And then you can start slowly adding in your oil. You want to start slow so that it starts to emulsify. And you don't want it to break. It kind of looks like it's breaking right now, so I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of oil again. So the emulsion actually looks really good, but it's really thick for a dressing. You can see on the spatula, or the whisk I mean, that it's just really thick, almost like custard. And so what I'm gonna end up doing is adding just a little bit of water. All right, so I got it back up to about 6 speed. I'm gonna add just a little bit of water to thin it out. And when you add water, some of those flavors are gonna be gone. So that's where you can start salting, adding a little more salt, adding a little more anchovy paste, garlic if you want to. Again, if it ends up too thin, there's some air bubbles in there, probably from me whipping it a little too much. That's okay. You can always add just a little bit more oil, again, to thicken it up and emulse it. Alright, now it's starting to look like a good consistency. I'm going to add just a little bit more oil. You want it to be thick enough where it's going to coat the leaves, of course, that you're going to make for your Caesar salad. It's actually still just a little too watery. I'm going to add just a little bit more oil to it. It's all a learning process, but most things are pretty easy to fix. Yeah, that's looking pretty good, I think. So now we'll just move on to me tasting it and then seeing what flavors I want to add to it now, whether it's more Worcestershire, salt especially, it does need salt, or more anchovy paste or anything like that. I also forgot about my cheese. Well, I didn't really forget about it. I did forget about it. I put it in at the end so that you can mix it to incorporate and you don't have to just grind it all up while it's in there. But it's all up to you if you want to put it in first or if you want to put it in last. So I'm definitely going to add salt because it does need some salt. I salt to taste, obviously. I'm just sprinkling it in there. I'm using kosher salt. And then I'm going to add just a splash more of Worcestershire. And some cheese. Take this off. It's not in my way. I put a lot of cheese in here. Again, it's all preference. I really like the taste of Parmesan cheese. So now I'm just going to mix it to incorporate it. Make sure the salt gets all mixed around in there, and cheese. I'm going to taste test. It definitely needs more salt. Might add a little pepper to it as well. Some people might not do that because it adds flakes. You could always use white pepper. I don't mind the look of pepper. I think it's all just like a personal preference. Again, it's all personal preference. I really like fresh cracked pepper, but I don't have any in my home. So I added probably like 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper. Another taste test. Still needs more salt. I'm going to add salt. I might add just a little bit more anchovy paste because I'm not really tasting much of the anchovies. A little bit more Worcestershire. There's about 2 drops. Add just a little bit more of anchovy paste. And make sure that mixes up and stirs up in there so you get that anchovy flavor. So because of adding the anchovy paste, it obviously got a little bit more salty than it needed to because I was salting the taste and then I added the anchovies. So again, to dilute that, just add a little bit of water and then it'll dilute the saltiness and it should go back to regular taste. So I'm going to add a little more oil so that I thicken up. And I originally had 2 cups of oil too. And I haven't even gone through that 2 cups yet. I'm going to taste it even just with adding only oil. It's still just a tad, it's like a very little amount of salty. So I'm going to add a little bit more oil, see if that helps out. Taste. It's delicious. It's delicious. Plus the fact that these are gonna go on leaves too, which are really plain and don't have a taste to them at all, just filled with water, that kind of thing. Even if it's just a tad over salted to the taste here, once it gets on your leaves and everything like that, I think it'll be perfect. So that does it for my Caesar dressing. I'm going to put it in here. You can see it's coating the sides very well, which means it's nice and thick, but not too thick because you can start to see through it. But I'm going to save this, put it in the fridge for when I make my Caesar salad later, and I'm going to grill some chicken, which will be in a different video, and I hope you guys will keep on watching. Thanks! Bye!